Hello and welcome. I'm Ebony.
And I'm Nico.
And we are
EboNics Podcast, where we're building the language around life, love, and legacy.
What are we doing today?
Before we get into that.
What's new?
Yeah, what's new? I've been busy as hell.
Yeah.
So new for me, I get to breathe a little bit. I'm a rest. We're shooting a new YouTube series next week. A lot. I'm excited.
Your show?
Huh?
Is that the YouTube series?
That's the YouTube series, yeah. And our kids are here, you know, so you might hear some crying and stuff in the background. We're going to ignore all of that. And we're just going to push through. But yeah, I'm super excited about the new series. I don't want to give too much away. Just know it's coming. What's new with you?
I'm a writer now for a YouTube series. Didn't know that initially. Got shoved in, but I like it. It's fun.
I'm proud of you.
Thanks.
I'm super excited. You're killing it. But yeah.
I was still thinking. But it's cool. Go ahead.
I'm excited. I'm super proud of you and all that we're doing. A lot of that goes to this lady here, our guest today, our first guest on the platform, on the podcast. It's our old therapist. She's not a therapist no more, so, you know, we're good. So we wanted to invite her on to talk about therapy, the importance of it, how it's blessed our marriage, brought us closer, helped to give us a lot of clarity on what we want to do for us and our business and stuff. But we want to welcome Miss Dawn Jones.
Hello. Thanks for inviting me. I'm excited.
For sure. We might have to add some like hand claps or something in the background. Right. We're going to do something.
Drum roll.
Well, what music you want to come out to?
Some thug life.
I got you. Every day I'm therapy.
Processional. That's for like.
Right. Some saved. when Jesus meet thug life, something like that.
Okay. Sounds like
Toby.
Who?
Toby. You don't know Toby?
Yes, I do, but I don't know why I went to Toby Mac. I was like, no, wrong.
He said
but no,
thug, not hug. Oh my God.
Right.
God.
That's why I was like, who? Does he still make music? Okay.
I'm sure.
So yeah, Toby. Yeah, we can do Toby. I'm that's 100 right there.
All right, I got you. You want to take it?
Nope.
I know you don't. Okay, it's worth a shot. No, we want to give you an opportunity to kind of, introduce yourself, tell us about, your story, how you got into therapy, and so on and so forth. The floor is yours.
Yeah, sure. So my name's Dawn Jones, and I love that you guys actually mentioned the name of my counseling practice in your tagline. I love it. So the name of my practice is actually Legacy. And the reason why I named it that is because I believe we all leave a legacy that can be positive or that can be negative. And our legacy in the negative sense isn't necessarily malicious, but it's just what we leave. And so I call my practice Legacy because I want to be a part of helping people heal and become whole so that they leave a positive legacy, that what they leave for the next generation, whether that's their children or their nephews and nieces, is something that changes a cycle, breaks a cycle or something like that. And so that's actually why I named my practice Legacy. Yes. And, as a Black girl that grew up in the inner city, I saw all of these patterns playing out in my family and in my community. And so at a young age, interestingly enough, I wanted to be a lawyer, but when it shifted, I wanted to be a child psychologist because I knew that I wanted to help people change and heal from brokenness because I saw the impact of not changing and not healing. So addictions, the pattern and the cycle of broken homes, the pattern and the cycle of, broken relationships with parents, broken relationships with siblings. And I was just like, yeah, we are dope people. We can beat these patterns. We can beat these cycles. And so that just kind of burst into me going to school and me opening this practice. And so Of course, I went to therapy myself, and so that helped. For me to really see the benefit of therapy and see how therapy can be damaging without the right one. Mm-hmm. So all of that just kind of put me right on the path to being here.
Hold up. Damaging?
Mm-hmm.
Really? I don't think I ever thought about that. Could you, So Dawn is, she was our therapist, so we might even dive into our story a little bit. We're giving her, permission, right, to kind of speak on it. We don't want to go into, too much detail. So, don't make sure everything stays cool with you and your license and all that.
I appreciate that. Yeah.
But I do want you to kind of, we're going to get in deep. So I just put a disclaimer right off the bat. But I do want to hear about this. I didn't know that therapy could be damaging in, certain areas.
Yeah, I mean, think about what you talk about in therapy, just in your story. Think about the work that we did, the parts of your life that we talked about, the things that y'all share with me that besides each other on this podcast, we're the only people who know certain things about you guys' lives. Mm. Now, imagine if I was self-centered. Imagine if I was misinformed. Imagine if I took that information and manipulated you or forced you to take on my thinking or another thinking versus helping you come to whatever your truth is, right? That's what I mean by therapy can be damaging. It's not always malicious. It's just damaging. It's not the work that actually helps the person achieve their ultimate goal of healing or what healing looks like for them to meet their goals. So it can be very damaging. And just from the Christian perspective, Christian therapists, there are types of Christian therapists that are not helpful, especially with things like sexual issues or addictions. I believe in the power of prayer. I know that it works. But sometimes when we start praying, when we stop, we need to talk through some stuff and figure some things out, and then we can end with prayer. But, Jesus didn't just pray. Like, he was actively a part of the lives of the people around him and the lives of the people that he healed. And so, a lot of times Christian therapists spiritualize problems so much that people leave broken. So that's what I mean by therapy can be damaging.
I came into your office as a baby. I was just like, I'm in good hands. I didn't even think about that. Now I'm like, who are we talking to? Like, that's crazy.
Pearls.
Dang.
Yep.
Well, hey, you were the first therapist I reached out to. I wanted a Black male and Christian. Then I realized I was a unicorn. So I scaled back. I was like, okay, well, let me start, let me give, everybody been talking about Dawn. Let me go ahead and give her a chance, man. So, and I was like, I don't need no Christian male. Like, I got Dawn, you give it to me as real as a man would, I guess. I'm like, hey, these blows you be giving me Friday turn to cry days. I be like, ugh. I be going into my weekend.
Right?
I give you 2 days.
And right, correct. Before Monday came. Yes.
Sure. Yeah, go with that. I'll be like,
yeah, and I wasn't trying to make y'all cry. It just, happened.
A lot.
It's rich moments, though. I ain't gonna start. I was like, okay, we gonna do this. We gonna feel these things and let them go. Just great sessions. So highly recommend it.
My first cry, it was literally snot running out of my face onto my legs. It was crazy.
Yeah,
it was a lot.
You got waterworks.
I was ready to go home.
And all I say is some tissue right there, and we're going to keep
Yep. Go ahead.
You go ahead. Who do you work with? What do you specialize in? And what methods do you use?
Mm-hmm. So I don't turn away like certain groups of people, but I will say probably about 95, I'm just throwing something out there, 95% of my clientele is Black, under the age of 40. And so I would say that in a lot of ways, this is my target audience. But again, I don't kind of turn any people groups or religious groups away, but that just kind of was the makeup of my practice. But my specialties are sexual addiction and partners or spouses of sex addicts. I also specialize in adult survivors of sexual abuse. And I also do some DBT work, but most of the work that I do with DBT, dialectical behavioral therapy, is connected to those things that I've already named.
Before we continue.
What does that mean?
No, them little letters you're going to be dropping, just go ahead and say them out.
Right, dialectical behavioral therapy, which is just a modality. It's a mode of therapy, basically, that focuses in on behavioral changes.
You're going to say the big word, and it was just like, no, let me explain it. You're using another big word. Dawn, we had several sessions. You should know, like, I'm a baby.
So DBT is basically a type or a style of therapy. It's a specific training, and it teaches you how to help clients achieve behavioral changes. So we don't do family of origin work or anything like that. We may get some context from it, but that's not the most crucial components. We're in the here and now, understanding the behavior, the function of the behavior, and how we can incorporate a certain skill sets to help you change the behavior or choose a different behavior that's more effective. So that's it in a nutshell.
And it's called what again?
DBT. Dialectical behavioral therapy.
Gotcha. Okay.
I'm cracking up.
All right.
That disturbed your peace.
Right, but I also do EMDR. So eye movement desensitization
That's
and
the
reprocessing. That's the one.
Oh my God. Mm-hmm. That's the one that took me out.
That's the one I do the most common.
She'd be like, I got this.
Mm-hmm.
My DTP
I have
bag.
ready. Yeah, I'm ready to do this EMDR session today. So I'm ready. I love that.
You love it, huh? Why? What is it about it that gets you smiling? You know, and we were crying walking out. Like, so I'm curious why you get so excited about it.
Right. I mean, because it works. It's effective. So one of the things, so I've done EMDR. So I have trauma in my past. And so I've done the EMDR as a client. But it works because with trauma, I'm going to try to make this as simple as I can because it can get very scientific. With trauma, it gets kind of like trapped in a sense. And so when people exhibit certain traumatic symptoms like flashbacks, nightmares, when the flashbacks maybe manifest in the body, ruminating, just throwing something out there. When people exhibit certain traumatic symptoms, that's kind of like the brain trying to process the trauma, but it's stuck. It can't. And so with EMDR, it works with the brain in a way where it just kind of assists the brain to process the trauma. Because really, God has given our brains everything that it needs. Think about it. If a dog barks and comes around the corner, your heart going to speed up. You're going to be shaky. You're going to run or jump on something. You're going to save your life. But for a couple of hours, a couple of days after, you're going to still be a little shaky. Sleeping that night may be difficult, but eventually you get over it. That's your brain processing through a distressing situation. But when your brain can't, that's when we start looking at those traumatic symptoms. And that's what EMDR can help.
So, we're going to be learning some stuff today. I'm going to play this back and be like, okay.
Did you have one of those?
I've had several of those. You know how many dogs I got attacked by?
EMDR sessions, dude.
Well, we talked, and she definitely pointed out how I wear a lot of my tension and discomfort in my body. Like, I'd be tense, like shoulders up here, and she'd be like, how are you feeling? Do you realize that, you know, your shoulder, your neck disappeared? Like, I'm like, yeah. So, I mean, what was the one thing that you said that you wanted to do that you was like a little cautious? What was that? It was like sensory.
That was, yep, EMDR. That was it.
Okay.
We did the imagery exercises, but I wasn't sure if EMDR would have been the best approach for you specifically.
Right. Well, I mean, we still got to it. So, you know your stuff. So you used it though. You went through the EMDR.
Yeah.
Okay. EMDR. Okay.
That's it.
It was like the You know, when you see therapy on TV and they're like, close your eyes, get comfortable. I was like, oh gosh.
I didn't do that. She made me sink into the floor though.
Oh,
she did the get out technique on me.
She do got bomb tea in her office.
That tea. Sometimes I have to get me a little cup. I'm like, I need to make it through the day.
I know you got some heavy people that come in, not like weight, but they come in on that couch and it'd be like a whole, like, you got a little divot in that seat. It's all the weighty people. People be coming in bringing all their stuff, dog. I was like, this couch probably has seen some things. Tears. Let's talk about why people don't go to therapy, particularly our people. Yeah, let's talk about that really quick, and then we'll kind of break down some of those, and then talk about why we decided to go. What is something that you hear within our culture, like, that prevents us from seeking therapists and stuff like that?
I mean, the most common one is Black people don't do therapy. You know, we just figure it out. We just suck it up. That's the most common one that I hear. Now, granted, our generation is a little bit better at that. So millennial generation and younger is a little bit better than that than some of the older generations, but it's still prevalent. And so that's the most common thing that I hear, that going to therapy is weakness. That means that you're not strong enough to deal with life. So I hear that a lot. I hear fear a lot, just kind of like, does that mean I'm crazy if I need to go to therapy? So people think if I go to a therapist, I'm admitting to some type of mental disorder or mental diagnosis. And so does it mean I'm crazy? And then the most common one is, the third common one is just like not knowing what to expect. And so the uncertainty of it is another reason why we don't go. But I would say those are the three most common that I hear in my practice.
With the pandemic going on, have you seen more people kind of come out of that? Or because I feel like even right before the pandemic, I feel like the culture was kind of on this mental health kick anyway, but I feel like the pandemic hit, everybody's forced to sit with themselves, or, you know, job losses, all the distractions have been taken away. Have you seen like a rise in like clients, or, you know, your, not coworkers, but other people in your field getting more clients and stuff? I
don't know about my colleagues. I can speak for the clinicians that in my practice, so the clinicians that work for me. We're full. I think I have one clinician who isn't, and we were close to full going into the pandemic, but it was just like the call came and we were not like wait a minute. And so, yeah, when the pandemic hit, the inquiries, the people calling for therapy went up. And it's exactly what you said. The distractions are gone. The busyness of life is gone. And so, you know, it's something we lost with the pandemic several hours of our day because we're not getting up and having to get ready to go to work and then go to work. So the commute is gone. Getting ready is gone. Picking the kids up from school, all of that is gone. So hours of our day that would have been filled with busyness and tasks and distractions, gone. And then we're isolated. And so people who have been able to live through their depression, live through their anxiety, I would even say function in the midst of addictive patterns, they can't anymore. And so people are really desperate for help. And some of those things that I listed that kept them from therapy, it just kind of doesn't matter anymore. And that's not the case for everybody. Some people are just continuing to suffer, but a lot of people have been calling and they're like, I just need help. I would also say I've had a lot of people call and say that they were coping with the pandemic, but then layer the pandemic with the cultural tensions and racism and the stress of that, the fear of that, the trauma of that. Right. And so I have people who are calling and they were like, I was okay with the pandemic, but then when we started dying, which we were dying before, we were being killed before, but I can't take it now.
Yeah.
Then those people started calling. And so I have a wait list because of how many calls I've gotten in for therapy.
Also, probably because of us, because we talk about Dawn. We were like, yo. So we wanted to see if you were willing to start a referral program. You know, like after so many, we don't get charged no more, just because. No,
Yeah, I want a little percentage off top.
Hey, look. When I say I talk about you to everybody, I'm like, I recognize that. Okay, the busier you get, I was like, you probably won't be able to see us, you know. So I was glad that we kind of got to a point to where we started seeing you less. And when you told us that, I'm not worried about y'all. Like, and you know, I've seen y'all using the tools and stuff. I was like, that's dope. You know, we had came a long way. So I felt like, okay, let me push her on to other people who may need the help. I was ready to let you go then, so that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
I was not.
She's not.
I was just gonna say, Eb was like, "What
you mean?"
That's like your parents kicking you out the house. You got 18, go. You know you gotta get out the nest. And Eb was just
my
like,
mom was ready for that. No, do not knock my weave up.
I'm sorry, yeah.
I can't.
We're gonna have another session live right now.
Right.
No, I mean, it's so crazy because even amongst men, like the men in my circle, I take that back because the men in my circle now, they all want like to be healthier mentally. Family though, I told my dad that I was in therapy. For what? Why?
I already told you, my daddy was like, oh, I already solved your problem. You depressed because I'm depressed. I was like, that didn't help.
I was like, oh,
that ain't it.
I was like, Dad, you remember I was molested, right? Yeah, you remember we never had conversations about it. You know, I never went to therapy about it. So, yeah, I want to talk about it. But, I mean, even if you didn't have that, you might need to be, you know, guided through some things. So I'm like, I'm pushing to everybody. Just get a checkup.
You go
exactly.
get a checkup.
We're talking about therapy right now.
Ooh.
That's from someone who hasn't had a physical
Don,
relationship.
Man, I've had a physical.
Oh.
But I gotta do better.
I know him since
absolutely.
I was 14. He just told you he had one physical.
Yeah, no sir.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna touch that.
He's right.
Did you compare yourself to Superman?
I'm not Superman.
He's lying anyway. I think we wouldn't work.
Right. I think one of the things you guys are highlighting though is we take physical health as something more important than mental health, right? Now, granted, sometimes we got to fight, especially to get Black men to go to the doctor. I just figured I would call you out, but we have to fight to get Black men to go to the doctor. So they're dying from things that could have been caught soon enough and they could have survived. But even with that, if we feel a pain long enough or a pain intense enough, we finna be like, oh no, we going to somebody's feet or urgent care or something. But we will cry ourselves to sleep our entire lives. We will drink ourselves to sleep. We will be angry and vengeful with everybody in our lives. But we don't see those as indicators that we're having some emotional health issues. Sure. And so we have to begin to see our mental and our emotional health as important as our physical health.
It's an educational piece. I didn't realize, like, all the coping, like, I was able to show my dad grace. I think this was probably one of the first conversations we had. And you had said something about, like, yeah, some people, they have a drink, you know, some people, they do whatever. And I was just like, my dad had a drink almost every day after work. He had to decompress, and he used that drink. Like, I mean, granted, thank God it wasn't anything crazier, but, you know, he had a drink, and he was just like, he would not, like, get drunk and all that stuff, but he was just like, once I have my drink, you know, I'm not going to go nowhere. I'm not going to drink and drive and all that. He was just like, I'm chilling. Like, I'm trying to decompress, get over my day, you know, and he got a lot of kids. So it's just like, my dad was like, alcohol, that's what I'm going to use. And he didn't have, you know, the proper tools and the education or whatever to be like, I might need to go to a therapist to process through how I'm feeling. Instead, wash it down, you know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And for people like you who hold tension in your body, your emotional illness turns to physical illness.
She's the therapist.
You're stressing your body out.
Hey, man. Real talk. I take it. You're right. You're right. So I'm here. Like, I'm not even trying to say, okay, 2021 gonna be different. Like no, from now on, like I've already reached out to people about like, give me a primary. Like I definitely need that. Just stay on top of things. Cause man, my mental, I would get so stressed out that my body would then react, like shut down, and I get sick and stuff. And I'm like, I don't want that. So I definitely want to be in a healthier place so I can also show the kids, you know, what they need to do, healthier practices and stuff like that. So.
Yep.
See, if this was a Black man, Christian, it wouldn't be too long. Go ahead.
You think that?
We're ganging up to
No, I don't think that at all.
Okay.
I don't think that at all.
Get him, Don.
I can't. I'm trying to hold it back.
What else we got with that?
What made you go to therapy?
Me or you? What made you go to therapy, Ed?
The fact that I had never been. I was like, I feel okay, but it's probably stuff happening.
Oh, I knew you needed therapy.
So I'm going to just go. There wasn't a, event that prompted me to go.
Your face was like, that was shade. It wasn't shade. It was just like, oh, babe, I think, you should go to therapy.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what you said the first time. Right. That's all right. Go ahead. We listening.
So that's how my first session started. I don't really know why I'm here, but I know I should be.
It's so funny. I started, because, we didn't really say that how we met, Dawn. Did we?
I don't remember meeting her the first time. You did.
I remember. So we were doing a series at our church, and one of our pastors was really big in like mental health and all that stuff. He was doing a lot of work in it. So he invited a panel of different, I think everybody was therapists on the,
I remember that.
And you were there. And first of all, I was like, she looks young, she's Black, she's Christian, that's super dope. The other people that were like white, a little long-winded, kind of clocked out, but I was like, she was dropping gems. And I was like, that's dope. And I was like, man, I want a therapist like that, but I would prefer a man just so we can talk about, just maybe we have more stuff.
Things.
Right. I love how you said that. You pumped the chest out and everything.
So I promise you, Dawn didn't laugh at me when we was when I was a client. She didn't laugh at me in my face like this. So she. But
it's okay.
I was like, she dope, I was already like reading books, and we was like in a little course, a little class that we was doing in my church, and I was super excited about it. Eb didn't take the class yet. So I would go home, I'm working on stuff, and I'll come home ready to talk about it, and she know nothing. She don't know nothing that I'm talking about, nothing that I'm working through. So I'm like, I can't wait. As soon as she get through this class, she gonna start understanding why I'm so excited. She started going right after, my class ended, and she went from the class right into therapy, like before I even got a chance to find somebody. So Eb had been talking about you, and I was like, oh, that's the Black lady. That was like, okay, dope. Let me check out. So smooth. I mean, like you came highly recommended by several people, even people that weren't tied to the church. So I was like, let me check her out. And I was, I was pleased.
That is so interesting to me because there's like a whole group that speak of the same panel. And I remember seeing a few of you guys in the audience. I think some of you guys came to me, kind of introduced yourselves. But it's like this small group of people just exploded. Like that group that you guys come from really began my practice, right? You guys helped grow my practice. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. Because and I didn't figure it out until I don't know who else, which client I was talking to, but they just started to just talk about a particular situation and start dropping names, and I'm sitting there like, now wait a minute. And I just like mentally started to piece things together, and I was like, wow, because I don't know if you guys know how far out your referrals went, but
that's what I'm saying. That's why I need these free sessions, baby. Like, no, we I'm like, somebody. I was talking to somebody. I was like, oh, I go to Dawn. I'm like, you go to Dawn? Like, yeah, oh yeah, y'all been talking about it and all that. And then somebody else said like, oh yeah, so-and-so told me about it. I was like, y'all go to Dawn too? I'm like, boy, Dawn, no, she got all the tea. If you decided one day that you just wanted to end it all, I was just like, everything in the group is so dope. But everybody has nothing but great things to say about you, how they're working through. And it's dope because we all don't have the same stories. And yet, you've been skilled enough to speak on or whatever and guide everybody through they mess. So,
yeah.
Way to go.
It's definitely a God thing. Y'all know that. Y'all know it's my training, but it's like the training in one ear and the Holy Spirit in the other ear. So, so it's interesting. People are like, yeah, you're highly recommended. I'm like, oh, hopefully I don't, drop the ball with this client.
Hey, I've heard nothing but good things, so I'm excited. I'm pleased.
Oh, good.
So our progress, like I said, so we started. Eb started with you last November-ish? October. Because Eb needed more work, so. And I started in January.
I won't even deny that.
Our work just looked different. You just like overtime. I'm more of like a part-time situation.
Boy, say what you finna say.
But we started, and we've been rocking with Dawn. Like we had our sessions. We had weekly situations. And then, because we were going to you before the pandemic dropped, we switched to virtual, which still was great. And then you were just giving us the tools that we needed to communicate. Like, that's what also helped, like, prompted this platform. Like, we wanted to show people what it's like to wrestle through things, like, live. We always see those couples like, oh, we did this, and we went through that. And it was like, hey, what was it like to sit in it? Some people actually need to know that we're not feeling each other today. Like, or after this, like we had a talk, but after this, we need to breathe a little bit, And then I don't know, it's not as pretty as it looks on camera and Instagram and all that stuff. We want to show y'all the other photos that got deleted, they didn't make the cut. We want to show y'all the messiness. And you just really helped give us the tools we needed. Like, I got my own set of tools now. She got hers, and when we come together, we're using them to come closer, build intimacy, and just strengthen our marriage. So it's just been super dope. I had dealt with molestation, like childhood trauma, a lot of broken trust, my parents, and just a lot of messiness that really made it difficult with connecting with a partner, and also giving Eb the clean slate, a fair slate. I'm judging her by everybody else, not giving her opportunity to show me who she was, and all my messes bleeding into Eb's and all that. So we have just come a long way. And then Eb, like I said, she's less of a mess. And I love her. So you made it easy to deal with it all. Brought to you by Dawn, Legacy Council. Now, what would you say about you and your progress? Like, what are some things that you brought into, your relationship the sessions, and then where are you now with things? I need more slack in these headphones, so I can't
brought
really turn
in poor communication. I'm used to talking to paper, not so much talking to people. So we're getting there. So what I consider super oversharing is like basic communication. So I'm working on sharing what I would consider a whole lot of unnecessary information. And Nick is like, yes, this is a normal conversation.
It's been, I'm sorry to cut you off. It's been so great because her oversharing sometimes is so funny and random, but sometimes it's just like
jump into it. Like, here's things that have happened.
Listen to that.
It's just like washing dishes and turn, by the way, this and this and this and this. Just overshare. And sometimes it's just like, hey, babe, I just want to overshare and this and this. I'm like, oh, that's normal. That's what normal conversation is like, at least for me. But, I get it. But no, it's been funny. It's been great and very beneficial. So go ahead.
Yep. And something else that you also thought was funny is we learned during our move that when I get into like focus mode, all you get from me is projection. Like, gone, I'm doing something.
Shoe fly.
Yes, don't bother me. And you were taking it personally. And I'm just like, dude, I'm trying to get done so I can sit down and be done. Then we can snuggle on the couch. So one day, I don't know what I was doing, but I did some version of shooing you.
Some version?
And
Sure.
then I was
That's
like, oh, wait. And I turned around and was like, oh, wait, give me a hug or something. Like, we good. I just want to get done.
This wasn't the bad one. This was the one where you were just like, oh, I did it again?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. I don't know if you knew that. Yeah, so she basically did it over. She basically did it again. Yes, she did it again.
She said I shoot him in my sleep.
And she...
Like, I popped him in my sleep. Like, gone.
Yes. I remember one time, I came up on her. I'm trying to
do your right. Your marriage.
I'm trying to spoon, She popped in her sleep.
I was not even conscious.
I had to look like, I thought she was asleep. I was like, okay. I must sleep on the couch.
It's that deep.
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to sleep so I can get done and sleep and then get up and you messing with me. No.
But that day, she did it again. It was like almost the same situation, kind of. She was just like move, like push or whatever. But she was like, wait, no. Like, I realized what I did. Like, no, give me a hug. Like, it's not that. And she told me how she was feeling. And I was like, okay, I appreciate that. You good. You're good. I understand now. But boy, that time. What I realized, though, this is another thing that you... Go ahead. What I realized, what you helped me realize, was during the times where I get overwhelmed and it's a lot on my plate and I want to check out, I reach for Eb. I reach for,
connection. Yeah.
Connection. Who else I'm going to connect with, So I'm reaching for her during these times and just for something. And it's like reassuring, let me know I'm not alone or encouragement, whatever. And when she rejected me, it was a huge blow to ego and all that. And also, if my love language is physical touch, you rejecting that sends me in the negative, it just really hurts. So I wouldn't have been able to connect that though without my time with you. So, yeah, man.
And I think what you guys highlight here is how important the willingness of the client is. You guys came to each session willing to explore and be curious about yourselves, about your spouse, about the dynamics of your marriage. Like, I don't remember you guys ever walking into the session literally thinking that you didn't play a part in anything. And so there was a certain humility and willingness that you guys brought to the session that just made the process, I think, easier for you guys. Not easy, because therapy isn't necessarily easy, but easier. Like, you have to have that willingness, because a lot of what y'all brought to the table was normal marriage stuff. Mm-hmm. You take two people that grew up in two different homes with two different family of origins and family norms, and you put them in the same house, then you give them kids. Of course, there are going to be these miscommunications. Of course, there are going to be these moments where you feel rejected or you are rejecting your spouse. Of course. So a lot of what you guys brought to the session was normal marital stuff. But because this stuff isn't talked about, like your podcast, like these conversations are not being had in certain ways, people think their marriage is trash. Now, I've had some people come to me and I was like, oh my. But a lot of the couples that come to me, I'm like, this is fairly normal. So it's normalizing. These are indicators that there's some health in your marriage, right? Two robots are not married. Two humans are under covenant. Right. And so some of the tension is an indicator, okay, we have something to work with here. And the fact that you guys were willing, I mean, it made the process, to me, pretty smooth.
I needed something to work and to help, because what I learned was I used to think that people who got divorced, they just gave up. If you say for better, for worse, richer or poor, whatever, it should be that. You know, these situations happen and all of a sudden you give up, you check out. But I had to get to the place where I was like, okay, I was mentally exhausted. I didn't have it in me to do no work at a certain point, to where leaving felt easier, not to be with somebody else, not to hurt her, but to protect myself and to finally breathe and get a break, escape, the pain and the, whatever. And I was like, man, I want people to know that you're not alone and that there are tools and whatever. This is how we deal with it. It might not be your situation, but encourage somebody to figure it out so that, you can fight for what you got.
Absolutely. I view it like, and I don't want to talk too much, but I view it like life is when you order a bookcase, right? The bookcase comes, you open the box, you got all these parts. That's life. And the expectation of people around you looking at your marriage, looking at your life, is that you're going to put this bookcase together. But the instructions ain't in English. You don't know what kind of tools you need, right? You don't know what kind of tools you need. You got all these screws. You got it's just like, okay, I have all the components, but I don't actually know what I'm supposed to be doing. And so in a lot of ways, my therapeutic style is, okay, that's a hammer. A hammer is for the nail. You have all of the capacity in your body and in your muscles to swing the hammer. You just didn't know that it was the hammer you needed.
Right.
And so that's what the process is like. I believe that God has given us everything that we need to be successful in marriage and to be successful in our singleness. Sometimes we just need somebody to say, the tool's right there in front of you. Pick that one up. Swing it.
That's what I'm trying to tell Eb. Sometimes you need a screw. Just a little screw.
How, Eb, I'm praying for you.
Your analogy, but go ahead. That's real.
No, that's it.
That's so real. I felt like I feel like the Bible. People will give you the Bible and be like, here, this is what you need. And it's just like,
it's a lot of pages.
It's a lot of pages. It's a lot like, how do I use this tool? Like the tools that I came into my marriage with weren't good tools. They weren't good tools at all. So once I became a believer,
some of them was just a little rusty.
Some was a little rusty. That's true. And I definitely had, real talk. But then once it came to counseling, like you gave me a different set of tools, and you also showed me like, hey, the tools that you have, this is how you use them or whatever. Like, it's been so rich, man. So I highly recommend it. Mm-hmm. Hey, I don't want to hold you for too much longer. We want to talk to you about your transition into a life coach. This is where it's like super excited about.
The most exciting. Yes, I'm excited too. Life coaching has been something that I've been thinking about actually the entire year, but it's not a regulated thing. So I had to do a lot of research. But what made me kind of decide that I needed to do it is just my therapeutic style began to look a lot like life coaching. And so by separating the two entities and having the life coaching practice and the therapy practice, I'm able to do both. And instead of trying to make them fit together, because life coaching is a very here and now and future oriented way of helping people, goal oriented, right? So here you are now, you have goals about the future, things that you're wanting to build or trying to build. There may be barriers in the way, maybe skills that you need. And so let's talk through what those barriers are, what the skills are, do some skills teaching, skills training, to help you achieve those goals in your life, whether those are business, spiritual, relationship, etc. Versus therapy, which is a little bit more, it can be here and now and have components of future, but it's very much about healing from the past, things that have happened that brought you to that point. Therapy lives in that place, especially the therapy that I'm trained in. And so the coaching practice was called Pivot. So it's called Pivot Life Coaching. And so that is kind of the breaking those two parts off. What y'all say?
Sure, I did a little victory noise. Get it, Carol.
Okay. Yeah, so it's called Pivot Life Coaching, and the idea is that through life coaching, it's a turning point. Like this process is literally pivoting your life. It's turning your life in the direction that you want it to go in, the direction God wants it to go in. So another big difference between my coaching practice and my therapy practice is that my life coaching practice is explicitly Christian. Does not mean you have to be Christian to get life coaching from me, but I attached it to my ministry versus my therapy practice, which is not specifically Christian. So that's another difference. But it launches, I guess I should say this, it launches in January. So people can go to my website and go ahead and get set up for life coaching and get a schedule out, get a schedule down and everything.
She want me to go right now.
But we won't. She said, send us the form.
Yes.
But we won't actually begin to meet until 2021.
That's what we're excited about. It was just like, since we're not using Donna's for therapy no more, we definitely use it for life coach. So I'm like, hey.
Our theme for 2021 is now Pivot, just so you know.
Okay.
Say it again. It's what? I want to hit you.
The theme of our life in 2021 is going to be Pivot.
Oh, you know what? I'm inspiring vocabulary. I like it.
You're also giving vocabulary, so yeah, because EMDR. Yeah, okay, yeah. See? Yeah. Learning stuff. And DTP, like, oh, man.
That is not what she said.
Just
that is not it. DBC.
DBC. Okay.
Uh-huh. You don't forget it in 5 minutes.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited. What do you have a wait list?
I don't. I have people who have reached out already.
You will. You will. We got you.
I don't have a wait list. It's actually wide open. I only have 4 coaching clients right now, including you guys. So I have 4 people lined up to start coaching in 2021, but that's far from full. So yeah, and there'll be group opportunities. I did mention this earlier for therapy. I'm beginning to do therapy groups to kind of, get as many people help as possible. But I'm also going to be doing kind of like live sessions. And so it's kind of like seminar, workshop, but specifically connected to what you may get in life coaching. And so there'll be lots of things coming within the new year.
All right. I'm excited. I didn't realize. So first of all, I went to your site and it was like, that must have just said boss. I was like, oh, she got folks. And then you said it earlier, you got folks working under you. I did not know. Mm-hmm. So congrats. I'm glad to see everything's growing and you pivoting.
Thank you.
That.
I am. I just actually got my speaking website redone too. So I'm really, it's really nice. And so that launches this week. And so it's going to incorporate the life coaching. So I'll make sure to see you guys the link for that, because the coaching will be on my ministry website. So.
Okay, because I'll put all the information in the description box below, but definitely want everybody to go check you out, show some love, get some help.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, this was a great time, you know. We didn't cry. It is Saturday too. But,
no.
You know, that's probably what it is.
I won't come back y'all cry. Not, it's not a session.
So,
I didn't push. I don't make y'all cry. I refuse to accept that. Y'all make yourself cry. I just ask a question.
Okay. You be like,
I like crying.
Let it go.
It's not
feel that.
I
don't want to feel it. Just feel it. Okay. Bye. It's been great. It's been great.
Yeah,
Any more questions?
Where can people find you?
Yeah, so for therapy, my website is www.legacyservices-stl.com. And for life coaching or any other type of booking or anything like that, you can go to www.dawnjonesnetwork.com.
Come on, the network.
Use the promo code Nico.
Oh my God.
Nice.
It would be L. That would be EboNics. That's what it is. Mm-hmm.
See,
but we can talk about that. We can talk about codes. I ain't mad. I ain't got no merch. But
EboNics code.
Well, let's talk. I'm excited, man.
It'll be EboNics.
Y'all gonna have more. We're gonna definitely have more to talk about come the new year as we, spend more time in with the life coach. Super excited. Eb is definitely not gonna let us forget about that. So, yeah. Well, we want to thank you for your time. This was super dope. Our first guest. Fun, yeah. Yeah.
It was fun. I enjoyed it. I'm glad y'all invited me on.
So, you see her talking and stuff? This girl, look, man.
Trying.
Yeah, close us out.
No. This is your thing.
You can do it.
I don't even be knowing all the things. We're on.
We would like to thank you guys for tuning into another episode of EboNics Podcast. We are located on all major platforms: Apple Podcasts, Google, Spotify, Anchor. Yeah, all the things. Check us out on YouTube if you want to see our faces.
And Dawn's face.
And Dawn's face, yeah. So, she's a black woman with the curls out here and the big ghetto hoops. Yeah, but she's professional.
Ooh, I put on a small one too.
Right. Those are like medium. They're small.
Oh.
I like them kind.
Whatever. Look, make sure you like and comment on all the ridiculousness, and let me know if you remember what an EMDR and BDBT, the other one, BDP.
T.
I'm not even playing.
That's because you was playing earlier. Don't confuse yourself.
Just put it in the comment below if you know what it is, and school your boy. But until then, next time.
Patreon in January.
Oh, Patreon launching in January. If you want to support us.
For his birthday.
And now that we're doing, it's going live on my birthday, January 2nd. We got different tiers, so you can choose what you want to give, but all the proceeds goes into strengthening the platforms. We got Chef Nico stuff, we got EboNics stuff, and we also got Ebony Shumpert's writing and vlog and all kind of cool stuff. Just
vlog. I will not be on the camera.
Yeah, she's not. Cojones. No. No cojones. But yeah, top of the year, 2021. We pivoting.
That's right.
All right, y'all. Till next time. Peace.
Bye.